Is the greater Sacramento area actually safe in 2026, or are there areas you should be more cautious about? If you just look at crime rankings and headlines, Sacramento can look pretty rough. You'll see stats and social posts that make it sound like the whole region is unsafe, and most of them are actually only talking about the city of Sacramento, not the whole county and surrounding counties. They don't show the reality that safety can change completely just by jumping in a suburb over. You could have one neighborhood where people are out walking dogs at night and another 15 minutes away where you'd think twice about leaving the car on the street. Here's the reality. If you choose the wrong neighborhood, it can impact how safe you feel, how your kids experience school, and how your largest asset performs for years. If you choose the right pocket, the greater Sacramento area can be an incredible place to live, raise a family, and build wealth over time through home ownership. Hey, I'm a real estate broker of 23 years, team leader, and I've lived here for almost 50 years. In this video, we're going to talk honestly about how safe the greater Sacramento area really is in 2026, the areas that tend to feel safer, the areas you should be more cautious with, and how to read a neighborhood before you commit. So with that being said, let's jump into it. So it's actually really useful if you're thinking about moving here or considering an area you're unfamiliar with. So first we'll talk about the perception of Sacramento safety versus what's really happening on the ground, and why sometimes what you see online feels maybe exaggerated or incomplete. Then I'll walk through a couple of real world examples that show how two families can have completely different experiences in the same area just based on which pocket they land in. From there, I'll give you a simple checklist of indicators you can use to evaluate neighborhood safety, things you can look up online before you ever visit, and then things to look for when you're actually here on the ground. After that, we'll zoom out and talk high level about the types of areas in the greater Sacramento area that tend to be more stable and feel safer, and the type of areas where you want to slow down and do more homework. And by the end, you should feel a lot clearer on the question, is this area right for me? And if so, where should I even be looking? So let's start with the part everyone sees, the headlines. I mean, if you were to type in Google general Sacramento safety or Sacramento crime rate, most of what pops up is about the city of Sacramento, and that's just one piece of the greater Sacramento area. And even inside the city, crime is not spread evenly. It's truly street by street. Now, if you only look at those rankings, Sacramento looks more dangerous than average, which it is based on those rankings. What those numbers don't tell you is that crime tends to be concentrated in specific corridors and pockets, often older, more dense areas or spots that have seen less investment, while other neighborhoods, sometimes just a few miles away, feel completely different. For example, you could go over in Carmichael, and we'll just not even go to Sacramento. In Carmichael, you could be over by the Ansel Hoffman Golf Course off of California Ave, cross over Manzanita and go back into those neighborhoods, which is probably about 8 minutes away, and it's a completely different vibe. So you got to be really careful when you're looking at those different areas. And, you know, even if you zoom out to the whole Tri-County region, I mean, you've got El Dorado County, you've got Placer County, you've got outlying areas of Sacramento County, which include Elk Grove, Fair Oaks, Carmichael, Folsom, and all of those areas are going to be very different than areas in Sacramento, because you've got a mix of dense urban, older suburbs, newer master plan communities, and kind of semi-rural areas. So some of these communities tend to report lower crime, often show stronger school performance, and see a very high buyer demand. So when people ask, is the greater Sacramento area dangerous? Live here and feel safe, but only if you're intentional about which part of the area you choose. If you're just scrolling articles from across the country, you're gonna get a one-size-fits-all narrative. If you zoom in on the block level, you start to see that it's really a lot of micro markets. Some are tightening up and improving, some are stable, and some are struggling and carry more risk. Understanding that difference is where your peace of mind will come from. Okay, so let me ground this in a bit with a couple simple stories. We've had buyers who started their search by looking at list price. They found a house online that looked like a great deal, big lot, updated kitchen, great photos. On paper, it checked all the boxes. But when we drove the area and pulled local information around that address, the picture changed dramatically. We were seeing cars parked on lawns, boarded up windows a few doors down, graffiti that clearly wasn't being cleaned up, and a pattern of issues like car break-ins and nuisance activity within a few blocks. So on paper, the house worked. In reality, that buyer knew that they'd be worrying every night about their cars and their kids being outside. For them, that trade-off wasn't worth the lower price. On the other side, we've helped families move into neighborhoods where the daily experience is completely different. Kids outside on bikes, people walking their dogs after dinner, neighbors waving, the parks are used and they're cared for. And the most common issue is the usual modern stuff like Amazon thief on porches, package going missing once in a while. Same metros, same general region, totally different quality of life, just based on which pocket they chose. And I've also seen the opposite issue. Buyers talk themselves out of an area that actually fit them really well just because they saw a scary headline about maybe Sacramento crime with no real context. When we dug into the specific neighborhood they were considering, looked at school feedback, what was happening around that address, how long homes were on the market, it told a very different story. Again, kids were outside, neighbors knew each other, and homes were selling quickly at strong prices. Once they had that full picture, they felt comfortable moving forward, and they have been really happy with the home ever since their decision. So the point isn't to say these areas are good, these areas are bad. The point is you can't judge one single area by a single city stat or a random comment thread. You have to evaluate the micro area around the house you're actually considering. And quick pause before we get into the step-by-step. If you're loving the channel, please throw us a thumbs up, throw us a like, follow the channel if you find value in what you're getting. Also, drop us a comment, whether it's a comment about this topic, whether it's a comment or a question about the area. I respond personally to each of these comments. And don't forget, we put together a guide that has tons of information about our area, specifically Sacramento, El Dorado, and Placer counties. It's free to download, the link's down below. With that being said, let's jump back in. All right, so let's talk about how you actually read a neighborhood. If you don't know the area, you need more than a gut feeling. To really get a sense of the neighborhood safety beyond the headline stats, I mean, you should look at these specific indicators both online and in person. So, number one, crime data and density. Online, start with a crime mapping tool and local police stats. Every county has them, or every city. So if you go to Rockland crime data or you go to Sacramento crime, you can pull those up. And you gotta look for the exact area you're looking in, not just the whole city. So pull up close to the address. You're looking for patterns and hot spots, not just one-off incidents. And then you think about the vibe of the crime. There's a big difference between mostly property crime, things like car break-ins, busy retail areas, and a heavy concentration of violent crime. Property crime is annoying, but common in high traffic zones. Consistent violent crime, that's a bigger issue and usually points to deeper safety issues. When you visit, drive and walk the area at different times of the day and night. Ask yourself, does what I'm seeing match what I saw on the map, or does it feel different on the ground? So that's number one, check out the crime, get the crime details. All right, number two, the physical environment. There's a concept called crime prevention through environmental design, which is a way of saying safer neighborhoods usually look cared for. Online, you can get a first impression using satellite and street views. Are properties are maintained, or does it look neglected? In person, check some things out. Street lighting, are there well-lit streets at night? Does it work? Pride of ownership. Are lawns mowed, trash picked up, graffiti or nuances or nuisances painted over quickly? Natural surveillances. Do home have windows facing the street? Do you see people out walking dogs or kids playing? That eyes on the street effect is one of the biggest natural deterrents to crime. So make sure you're looking for those things. One of the biggest things I look for is going to be pride of ownership. When I go down the street, hey, are neighbors proud to be homeowners? That usually indicates some things there. So let's jump into number 3, commercial health. From a distance, you can look up what kinds of businesses anchor the nearby shopping centers. When you see strong anchor tenants, major grocery stores, national chains, and busy coffee shops, those companies have usually done their homework on the area's stability. Now, they may be wrong, they may be right, but they've done some homework. So when you're hearing a person, pay attention to the details. Are storefronts occupied, or is there a lot of vacancy? A lot of vacancy could mean that it's not healthy, there's not much traffic, and could be some issues. You know, when you are out looking around, are windows intact? Or do you see broken glass and boards? Do the parking lots feel clean, lit, and used? Healthy commercial areas are a good signal that the surrounding neighborhood is being watched and invested in. Jump into number 4, local public schools. Even if you don't have kids, schools are a shortcut to understanding neighborhood stability. Online, look at school ratings and reviews and how engaged parents seem to be. Higher performing schools and active parent communities usually correlate with neighborhoods where people feel safer and more invested. When you're in town, drive by at a drop off or pickup or during weekend activities. Do you see organized sports? Do you see families out? Do you see a general positive energy around the campus? That's a strong sign the neighborhood is functioning well at that. So see what the community is like. See if there's things happening, if people are out and about. That's a big way to kind of determine the safety of a community for sure. And number 5, community engagement. Online, you can look for signs of an active community. I'm talking about neighborhood associations, local Facebook or community groups, or evidence of a neighborhood watch. A community that communicates is much faster at spotting and reporting issues than ones that don't. So when you visit, look for community boards, event flyers, or neighbors actually talking to each other. If you get a chance and you're out and about and you're considering a neighborhood, maybe even ask the neighbors, hey, do you like living here? Do you feel comfortable walking around at night? Is there anything you wish you'd known before you moved in? You could probably go to the park and ask people that, it's a combination of, online tools plus real on the ground conversation is where you actually start to get a full picture and a full realistic view of how safe a neighborhood will feel once you actually live there. So definitely some good practices to do. All right, so now let's zoom out and talk about patterns, not just names. Across the greater Sacramento area, many people looking for a balance of safety, schools, and long-term value tend to gravitate towards suburbs and master plan communities with newer construction, maintained streets, and maybe active HOAs or neighborhood groups for those who don't like HOAs. Now, established neighborhoods with strong school reputations and a long track record of families staying put are what you're kind of looking for. I mean, pockets where you consistently see people outside, parks being used, and basic pride of ownership, lawns mowed, houses painted, trash picked up. I mean, homes look good. Now, in the Tri-County area, those patterns show up a lot in parts of places like Roseville, Rockland, Folsom, El Dorado Hills, certain pockets of Elk Grove, East Sacramento, among others. So, I mean, you've got Fair Oaks, you got Carmichael. So there's a lot of different suburbs and areas in our area that you're going to start seeing that. So the specifics really depend on your budget and lifestyle, but you'll notice the same themes. Strong demand, good amenities, and communities that feel invested in themselves. Again, that doesn't mean every street in those cities feels the same. I'll give you an example in my area. Where I live, it feels great, but I could go up north in same city, Fair Oaks, and it's completely different in certain streets in certain areas. So, I mean, it doesn't mean other areas can't be a great fit. These are just places where those indicators tend to show up more consistently. So when you drive by these areas, they tend to feel different. Parks are busy, sports fields are full on weeknights. You've got softball popping off with night leagues, different things like that. You see people out walking, and most homes show that basic pride of ownership. Those are little clues that you're in a place people want to be. Are these areas perfect? No. You can have crime anywhere, but if you're trying to stack the deck in your favor, these are types of areas that line up with what most families mean when they say, we want somewhere safe and stable. Now, on the other end of that spectrum, there are pockets often closer to the urban core or around certain commercial corridors where problems are noticeably higher. I'm not here to bash specific neighborhoods. There are good people everywhere. But if you're looking at a home in an area that already has a reputation for being rough around the edges, here's what I recommend. Drive it at different times, in the morning, after work, and later in the evening. Pay attention to lighting, noise, how cars are parked, and what's happening around you. Look for patterns, not one-off moments. Is what you're seeing an occasional annoyance, or does it feel like a steady background? Talk to neighbors or local business owners if you can. And I mean, local business owners are great because you're gonna walk in, you can talk to them and ask them questions about the neighborhood, what they think, and they're gonna give you honest answers. So if you can talk to local business owners, that's huge. And really listen to how they describe the area. Ask them what they like, what they don't, and if they choose the same area again. Some buyers intentionally choose up and coming pockets because it fits their budget and they're betting on future upside, or it works for them. That can absolutely be a smart play for certain people. The key is that it's a conscious decision. Let me rephrase that. Let me re-say that. It's a conscious decision, not something you discover after you moved in and your car has been broken into twice. If you're leaning toward one of those areas, I always recommend park your car, walk a few blocks in each direction, or just observe. Listen to what you hear, notice how people use their spaces, and ask yourself, can I see myself living this exact day-to-day for could be next 3, 5, 10 years? If the answer is no, it's probably not the right fit for you. So is it dangerous to live in the Greater Sacramento area in 2026? It can be. If you pick blind and ignore the patterns, it can also be an incredibly safe, comfortable place to live and build wealth over time. If you're intentional about the neighborhood you choose, Greater Sacramento isn't one thing. It's not all dangerous and it's not all perfectly safe. It's a mix of urban, suburban, and semi-rural pockets across multiple counties. Your experience will come down to which pocket you pick and how much homework you do before moving. If you use the indicators we talked about, crime patterns, the physical environment, commercial health, schools, and community engagement, and pair that with real conversations, you're gonna be ahead of most people just scrolling listings and hoping for the best. And if you're taking nothing else from the video, let it be this. Don't judge us off the headlines, judge it off the street you're actually going to live on. If you've heard stories about our area being dangerous, drop them in the comments. Tell me what you've seen online or what you're worried about, and I'll give you as much context as I can. And if you're thinking about moving to the area, again, that's Sacramento County, Placer, El Dorado. Grab that free relocation guide down there. Also, give me a shout. Let me do the homework for you. Let's talk about it. And I'll give you some information, some questions to ask, and how to avoid some of the biggest mistakes. And if you want help narrowing down specific areas based on your budget, lifestyle, and risk tolerance, reach out. We're here to help, and I help people move into this region all the time. And the goal is always the same, not just to get you a house, but to put you in the right area so you can actually enjoy living there. All right, so hit like if this was helpful. Subscribe to our channel. We're gonna talk about more real estate and lifestyle content. We bring you a video a week. So until the next video, thanks for tuning in. Cheers, we'll talk later.